like, sub, share, speak. Are you familiar with the concept of foraging? That's when people, namely white people, but people, dig through garbage and in some cases bear poop to find good not good, pause, not good, but edible food. Like, like a lot of bears eat apples whole, so if you go digging through enough bear poop, you'll be able to find an apple that is technically edible. Me personally, I don't want nothing that's been in anything else's digestive system, but hey, we weren't all raised the same. And speaking of raised the same, and drawing back to the foraging comments, I've been hypercritical of Jay-Z over the past year. I have not liked quite a few things that he's done, particularly when it comes to the, I guess, propagating the black victim mentality that has really just done a number on the descendant culture. So when he says something legit and then catches some backlash for it, I'm gonna have to step in and say, wait. He's on point. And that's what we find here, because he made a comment that a lot of people are taking in just the wrong in the wrong direction. And he's 100% right. So let's get into this.
You think about the idea of growing up in a single parent house, which I grew up in, which we grew up in, and having an adverse feeling for authority, right?
And I've talked about that. I've talked about that a lot on this channel, where if you're coming up in a single parent household without the father, you're missing your natural authority figure. Let me tell you guys a story, man. I used to get beatings. I used to get full on go get my belt beatings back in the day. My friends would sit outside and hear me scream for my life and laugh their asses off. But my father would always say two things to me at the end. One was, "This hurts me more than you." And as a child, you're looking at him like, "Really, nigga? Why am I the one that's crying, Dad? Huh? Why am I the one that's in pain? Why you see my tears, huh? What do you mean you feel bad? How are you hurting? Sir, you were in rare form today. You was really laying into those licks, my man." Um, and the second one was that I do this now so you don't want to get caught in the system. Because trust me, it'll be 1,000 times worse if they catch you. Which, and when it comes to both sentiments, these are things that you mature and you grow into understanding. Like I said, I didn't, I've been so blessed. I really have been. I had my dad from the moment I was born to the moment that he died. He was never more than a phone call away for advice, for guidance, for anything that I needed. Outside of money once I got to a certain age. But he relished his role, and he knew that in order for me to be a half decent human being, there were times that he would have to, lay down the law and lay down the discipline. So now when I do interact with quote unquote authority, I am far more, I guess, receptive to, where they're coming from, and always looking for an angle to, get out of whatever trouble I'm in. But that's a huge difference. I can't help but feel like that makes a huge difference. And because of my background, I can't speak to those who came from that background, which is one of the reasons I'm respecting what he said even more, because he's not sitting here saying, "Oh man, single moms are great, single parent households are fantastic." No, he's laying out the truth that, hey, when you're missing your natural authority, when you're missing that person that is initially put over you to guide you, then you are, in the terms of Terry Crews, malnourished. And when you got kids that go out into these streets after being raised, however long they have been, without having to take authority seriously, because as much as we like to pretend as if mothers are, you know what I'm saying, are just as tough and it's just as, you know what I'm saying, disciplinarian as fathers. That's nonsense. Okay. Like damn near every single mother I've ever interacted with, and by interact I mean really just smash and dash, um, like, you know, I'd see how they deal with their kids, and the kid, it would always take about three or so tries before the mother would eventually just give in and be like, okay, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Like my one ex, like here's a good example. My one ex, her daughter wanted McDonald's, and she was like, no. Ma, can I have McDonald's? No. Ma, can I have McDonald's? No. Ma, can I have McDonald's? Oh my God, yes. Just leave me alone. And that is really what like the type of authority that many of these children are coming up with, that there is no solid concrete no that they haven't been able to maneuver around. So when they get in front of, you know, legal authority, they're, well, like, you know, I mean, I guess I can use my ignorance as a defense, when in reality, no, you cannot.
What's going on? So you like, I hate my dad. Well, nobody tell me what to do. I'm the man in the house. And then you hit the street and you run into a police officer. And his first thing is, put your hands up, please, shut up. And you're like, excuse my language, everybody. You're like, fuck you.
True enough. I'm telling you. And here's one of the funnier parts, because as someone who grew up really in a neighborhood where there weren't a lot of fathers, I didn't have that much, what's the name, a lot of the I didn't, like, my friends, I didn't have a lot of friends who had fathers in the home with them. So that sentiment, you know, it kind of carried over to whereas I ended up becoming the outlaw that I became, because, you know, I mean, wait, okay, yeah, you know what I'm saying, screw them, and we're gonna get away with, but hold up, just not that crazy, because if my dad always taught me, if they caught me, it was going to be worse. So
right, so that interaction causes people to lose lives.
And he's right. I mean, he's right. And there's so many people who decided to take him, to take what he just said as, you know, oh, he's trying to greenlight police brutality, when that's far from the case. What he's saying is that due to that lack of disciplinarian control within the household, interact at the home, which is something I talk about a lot. I sit here all the time and say how, you know, it all starts at the home. The type of person that you're dealing with, the type of person you're interacting with, they get it from somewhere, and that's usually where. So when they run across these types of situations and they want to resist, and they want to, you know, oh no, I ain't got to listen to you and all this other nonsense, and things end up going awry, there's this sentiment like, oh my goodness, so how did this happen? How could this be? How could this be? There's this willful ignorance, particularly within urban/black culture, that's just like, you know, like, well, my baby shot, but you, ma'am, didn't put your baby in the best position to win by depriving them of their father. And hold on, before you get upset with me in the comments, oh, well, you know, cats leave, men leave, all this other stuff. Very true. But you also have 1,000,003 options to circumvent that when, you know, you realize, oh man, I got impregnated by somebody of ill repute, you know. But thanks to the welfare state, it's unnecessary. You don't have to, you don't particularly have to, and this, ladies, this is for you. You don't particularly have to be discerning when it comes to who you let between your thighs, because there's always going to be this welfare state. They're happy to prop you up and push you forward. And with that mentality, added with the soft bigotry of low expectations in these communities, I mean, yeah, it's nothing but like it's a what's the name? It's a recipe for disaster. I've said this a million times that urban communities are prison farms. Like the reason that the welfare state is so prevalent in these areas, and they want to make sure that fathers aren't around, is because that mentality, that what I just got finished speaking of, gets the bodies in the prisons. And let me mind you that there are currently states that are being sued by private prisons because they don't have enough people in their prisons filling up their beds, you know? So honestly, I don't particularly care for defending Jay-Z, but at the same time, when you're right, you're right. And one of the things that I've been very consistent about is that regardless of how I feel about you individually, when you say something that's on point, when you point out something that's right, I'm not going to sit there and pretend as if you didn't. That's the difference between, sane people and just crazy and deranged people. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, do that. Dislike it, do that too. I ain't scared, son. Sub if you enjoy a fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. YouTube, BitChute, this is just some guy down here. And speak. Let me know, what do you think in the comments? Do you think that Jay-Z was accurate in his assessment, as I do? Or do you believe, nah. Like, yo, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the single mothers and the single mother epidemic that we have, because that crack epidemic has been placed with a single mother epidemic, and everyone is pretending as if these things are working out fine, or these things are working out great. Or for those who are more in line with, who are a little bit more conscious, they're like, oh yeah, something's wrong, but they aren't willing to, really point out exactly where it's wrong, where it's gotten wrong. And so that's why I'm necessary. Or not, let me know what you think in the comments. And until the next one.